Hello and welcome to Practical Manifesting for Busy Women. This is a podcast designed for women who want to be conscious creators rather than reactors to life. Sometimes I find it amazing how difficult this path can be of being a conscious creator. Although I do think life is difficult too. But the truth is, we live on a physical planet. We have physical bodies. And in this physical existence, we need things. We need things like water and air. We need things like money. We need things like houses, and we need things like vehicles or a way to get around. There's a lot of things that we need, and we need to gather things. When you're on the path of conscious creation, you're the architect of your experience, and you attract all that's in your life. And real power is connecting to your inner self, your inner guidance. And we all know this, but sometimes it feels like connecting to your inner guidance doesn't really pay the bills. It doesn't really bring the person. It doesn't really heal our bodies. It's hard to live in a physical world and know that our power isn't physical. Well, we all have physical power, but that's the smallest version of power that we could ever experience. And if you've ever spent any time on Earth, it's impossible not to want. It's hard not to want something. And if you've ever studied Buddhism, they talk about detachment and how all of our desires are what cause us pain. But the truth is, we're supposed to desire things. If we didn't desire anything, we would never have so many of the amazing things that we have. It was the desire to get somewhere faster that the car was born, or the desire for flight that we learned how to do it. So desire itself is not a bad thing. And if there's things that you want, you're actually supposed to want them. It is what makes the earth spin. Believe it or not, we're not here to not want anything. If there's stuff in your life that you don't have and you feel like you don't have it, the answer isn't, oh, well, pretend you don't want it, because that's not going to happen. Instead, it's about seeing it a different way. A Course in Miracles teaches that everything that we experience, what we have in our life, is an extension of who we are inside. And if we're not loving our life, the good news is we can change it. But the tough news is that it's not outer work, it's inner work. It's connecting to ourselves. If our experience is an extension of who we are and we're not loving what we're experiencing, we have to change it, and we can. Last week, I talked about the rules, and it starts with rule number 1. Rule number 1 is everything in my life is there because I've attracted it. So what A Course in Miracles teaches is that when we first come upon that rule, we feel like it's impossible because we're used to thinking that the reason our life is not working is because of something externally. The government is doing something, the taxes, or internet is down and it's not working, or the person that you want isn't loving you the way that you want them to. When you first come upon rule number 1, you're thinking, but I can't control the external world. So you're saying everything in my life is there because I want it. But I wouldn't have asked them to do that. I wouldn't have told the government to do that. If I was in charge, none of these things would have happened. It seems like an insane rule, but we're not talking about the world. We're talking about your experience in the world. So if your boss is pissing you off because you feel like you're being micromanaged, or your client isn't giving you the stuff that you need from them, we're so used to blaming them. When you start to be a conscious creator, what we tend to do, and I know this is what I did. This is what I did in relationships. When I first became a conscious creator and really started understanding that it wasn't them, it was me, then what I did was let them off the hook completely and made it all about me. And I was the reason nothing was working out. And what A Course in Miracles says is when you move originally from shifting to blaming them, the next thing that you tend to do is blame yourself. And believe it or not, that is just as not helpful as blaming them, because blame and shame is never the answer. The better question to ask is, what in me needs to heal? How did I attract this? So I know in my relationship, what I ended up doing, not holding them accountable for anything. And because it was all me, because I'm a conscious creator and I attract everything in my world. And if they're behaving this way, then it's all about me. And what did I do to attract this? And then what that does is it creates relationships that aren't really intimate. There is a give and take, but a great question that you could ask is, what the heck did I do to attract this? Where was I not speaking my truth? Where was I not having a real conversation? Where was I not holding that other person accountable? Where was I not setting a great boundary? Those kind of things. Also, what do I believe? What do I believe would have attracted this? I always say, if you believe that the world is going to betray you, I promise you, you'll attract betrayers. If you believe that the world is not honest, you'll attract people who are not honest. So we have to move from not blaming them to not blaming ourselves to taking ownership in a way that is healthy. And when you take ownership in the way that is healthy, the Course in Miracles calls it moving onto the platform of love from the platform of fear. Really, the only way out is to move onto the platform of love. If your life is not working or you're not getting what you want, it's not that you can't attract what you want. Fear is blocking you. So we have to take ownership of our experience, but we don't want to move into shame and blame. We want to move into love. So what we learn when we're not able to attract what we want is where we need to heal. And what that healing means is that we're not in alignment with it. It's not about blaming yourself. It's recognizing I'm not in alignment with my inner truth, because your inner truth is always at peace. So if you don't have what you want right now, it's because you're not in alignment with your inner truth. It's not about blaming yourself. It's about stepping into love. So what you do is you recognize you need to heal, and what needs to heal is always the same thing. It's nothing out there. It's not that the government's going to change. It's not that they may, but it's not that your partner has to change. It's about your approach, your mindset. It's about what you're thinking that needs to change. What needs to heal is what you're thinking about what's going on. So there's the experience, there is your thought about the experience, and there is how you feel. We often forget that it is not the experience that makes us feel something. It is what we're thinking about what we experience that makes us feel something. So healing is changing the way you think. Now, just because you're wounded doesn't mean you can't heal. Just because you have something that needs to heal doesn't mean that it can't heal. Sometimes we get to a place that is so hard and so difficult that it becomes physical. And once it becomes physical, it's not mindset that heals it. If you break your arm, you can't think great thoughts about healing your arm and it will heal. So you want to catch it before it becomes physical. You want to catch it while it's still a mindset issue. If you're in grave debt, you can't just necessarily today get yourself out of it. You're going to have to take some physical steps. Just like you're not going to meet the man or woman of your dreams by staying in your home. But we heal the mindset first, and then it heals the outer world. So it is about taking the right steps. So with every thought, you're either on the platform of fear or the platform of love. Your job is to create a miracle. A miracle is moving onto the platform of love. A miracle, in A Course in Miracles terms, is a shift in perception, which is always moving onto the platform of love. So when you feel like you don't have something, the rule is anything that you want, you have to give away. Also inherent in that rule is anything that you're holding on to too tightly is something that you're going to lose. We've known this for years upon years. This is why tithing is as old as the Bible. It's an old concept. We just forget to apply it because we think it has to be a physical thing. I've got to give something physical. We want to move that idea of tithing to the mindset. Whenever you give away is what you get to keep. So right now, if your mindset's focused on fear, what you're going to get is more fear. So you want to move your mindset to that of love. An easy way to do it is to share blessings in your mind. It's often something I beat the drum of constantly, but send out what you want in your mind to everyone else. I call this concept the sharing of blessings. Think about what you want and imagine everyone that you love having it. Come up with a picture of what they'd look like having it. If you want new love in your life, picture your single friends meeting people and feeling really joyous. Come up with different scenarios. If you want more money in your life, imagine people in your life on vacations in Europe. Imagine their bank accounts growing. If you want more health in your life, picture all of the people in your life vibrant and healthy. It seems like nothing, but everything in this world starts from thought. So if you can't think it, you can't have it. And also remember that one of the people that you want to share those thoughts with is you. Imagine yourself having what you want. If that makes you feel more fearful, don't do it, because thought is everything. Mindset is where we need to start. So it is not about detaching from the need or the desire of wanting something, but it is about moving from the platform of fear to the platform of love on the subject. You cannot straddle both platforms at the same time. A Course in Miracles teaches that the mind cannot serve two masters. You're either fully on the platform of fear or you're fully on the platform of love. It is like being on the train station. You can't stand on the north going track and be a little bit south. Whatever train you get on is going to take you all north. There's no going south. So if you're a little afraid, you're fully afraid. Your job is to shift your mindset to move onto the platform of love. And the best way to do that is to imagine sending that love, sending that joy to everyone you know. Imagine everyone you know feeling joyful. Spend some time today thinking of people in your life and visualize them happy. Send a beam of light from your heart to their heart. It's only going to send love through this beam. Send this beam to everyone that you know, and you will feel lifted in light. So remember, you don't have to stop wanting. You just have to get onto the platform where wanting feels good. I have some great programs out. My website's done, so go check it out, kimmazzella.com. I've just finished a program called 7 Days to a New You. That program is all about when what you're doing is not working, stop doing everything and start doing that program. It's about getting into a complete mindset shift in 7 days. It's about getting onto the platform of love, and it just takes 7 days. It's an intensive course. They call it a boot camp for the mind. Unlike my other courses, which are done in smaller increments. Remember, if you're struggling in any relationship, I also have 28 days to create awesome relationships. That's available as well. And I do have my 4 steps to a miraculous manifesting program as well. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you can also have a private session with me, or you could take my larger programs. So please reach out. The way to get in touch with me is in the description. But remember, life is short. So please be kind, have fun, and love everything. Thanks for listening.